What's good, everybody? 100 Beast Kenshi here, bringing you One Piece 894 12:05 AM. So let's start with the cover page. We are back with the Tontata of the Straw Hat Grand Fleet. The Invisible Army will be escorts for King Riku when he travels to the Reverie. I'm really excited for the Reverie. I kind of feel like it's gonna be one of those arcs, kind of like Zoe, one of those unexpected arcs where a lot of things happen that you just couldn't predict. Like, this is something that you didn't know this was coming. This isn't like the Wano hype where we know that we're going to this place called Wano and we're gonna see samurai and Japanese style One Piece. Yeah, this is going to be a totally unexpected thing. I'm really excited to see. Probably Edward Weevil might make his appearance here. Although, I do think he would more likely turn up in Wano Country, because that's where everybody's going to be. That's where this whole thing's going to kick off. Anyway, moving on to page 1, and what do we have here? The return to Ruskina, where the training with Rayleigh continues. And I'm a huge fan of Rayleigh. One of the things that Rayleigh did when he entered the series is that he gave us a direct connection to the Pirate King's crew. And although we did see Crocus before, but when Crocus entered, you didn't get that sense of awe that you got when Rayleigh was introduced and he slowly revealed himself to be the right-hand man of the Pirate King, Dark King Rayleigh. May-o Rayleigh. And we go back to Luffy learning how to use observation haki. And the interesting thing about this is that this section right here of the training, this is on observation haki. So potentially there's going to be other sections as well where Rayleigh is showing Luffy the finer points of armament haki and also the finer points of conqueror's haki as well. And I believe it will move in succession like that, and we'll potentially see or experience a greater understanding of all forms of haki through these training segments. We go back to Rayleigh telling Luffy that there's an aura to attacks, an intent, and the blindfolded Luffy, all he can smell is some delicious food. And he reaches out, but all he can focus on is the delicious food that Rayleigh has prepared and left on the side. And this is probably a training tactic for Rayleigh as well. You know, he knows that Luffy is one of his big weaknesses, that he loves food, so maybe he put the food there purposefully to enable Luffy to try and focus on something other than the food, which would prepare him for the future. Maybe. Rayleigh's face. In the sequence, Luffy starts talking about he is sensing anger coming from Rayleigh after the food is knocked over. And Rayleigh goes on to suggest that Luffy is more adept at sensing the emotions of people or the feelings of living things. And this is something that I quite like, because my very first video on YouTube was about Luffy hearing the voice of all things in a combat situation. Now, Rayleigh knew about the voice of all things from his experience with Roger. We don't know to what extent he knew. He doesn't really let on in his conversation with the Straw Hats at Shabondi. But Rayleigh knew something about the voice of all things, and potentially he managed to witness this in Luffy as well and teach him some way to hone that particular skill. And since it seems to be coming up in the observation haki situation, then potentially we could say that there is a direct tie between observation haki and the voice of all things. If Luffy is able to hear the voice of his opponent's movements in a combat situation, then would that be on par or even better than future sight? Because that's something that will be based more on instinct, whereas future sight is dependent upon your ability to deduce the future that you're seeing and act accordingly to counter the situation that may occur. So I'm really excited to see the outcome of Luffy's foray into the realms of observation haki. And I am going to talk about Snake Man, most definitely, but I'm trying to structure these videos in a bit of a better way. So let's move from point to point and page to page and build a little bit of hype as we go. Rayleigh says Luffy can't eat until he dodges 100 attacks. In these panels, there's definitely growth from Luffy as well, because in the nighttime. We see the animals that he possibly defeated already, and Luffy tells him to go back. Rayleigh says, I can't eat, so I won't eat. And this is very similar to the tactic that Mihawk used against Zoro to teach him how to use Busoshuku no Haki, armament haki. Mihawk tells Zoro that he can't drink until he's able to make his blades go black. So in terms of tutelage, Zoro and Luffy appear to have peers in the field. And that Zoro and Luffy video is coming. Anyway, Rayleigh goes on to tell Luffy that there are people out there who are proficient in observation haki to such a degree that they can see a glimpse of the future. So Luffy knew about people like Katakuri before he even entered the New World, which begs the question, what did he prepare for these kinds of people? I will talk about Snake Man at the end. Rayleigh asks Luffy, what will you do when you face one of these people who are capable of such a thing? And Luffy says it depends on the type of person they are. So that goes to show that Luffy has been using his innate affinity of observation haki to view his opponents as he has progressed through the Grand Line and the New World. And he seems to understand that in these battles that he is going to face, it is not just going to be strength that will win the day. Luffy's actually a very intelligent fighter when you think about it. This panel made me harken back to Marineford, where Mihawk tested Luffy and he found out about Luffy's most potent ability in terms of a pirate captain. And that is the ability to gather those around him to fight on his side to accomplish his goal. And that is the ability that will make Luffy the Pirate King. Rayleigh tells Luffy that this ability to sense the emotions of living things will make him capable of being able to predict the movements of his opponent and be able to stand on par with these people who can see a glimpse of the future. And back we go to the war in the Mirror World, and Luffy is using his instinct to dodge every single one of Katakuri's attacks to begin with. But Katakuri's a masterful fighter. His fighting style kind of reminds me of Kazuya from Tekken. I really need to see this fight animated because it looks like Luffy is fighting in base form and relying on Ken Bonshoku no Haki alone. If he's doing this, then Luffy is already fighting on a higher level than what he was previously. Even against Cracker earlier on in this arc, it seems like Luffy is attempting to push himself beyond his limits and unlock Ultra Instinct. Nani? Katakuri unleashes with his own version of Red Hawk, the Grilled Mochi, the Rocket Punch. Nani? This is a devastating attack. Like, he literally blasts Luffy way back into one of the endless pillars of the Mirror World. But Luffy bounces back, staying strong, staying on, comes back with a swift and weighty punch to Katakuri's jawline. And speaking of bouncing back, this is an ability that a friend of mine has always said that Luffy has, in that because he is made of rubber, in a combat situation, in any kind of situation, in life itself, Luffy will always be able to bounce back, as if perhaps his awakening could enable him to turn his spirit itself into rubber, so that he can never be knocked down for too long. He will always bounce back stronger than before. Shouts out to Crespo. Katakuri literally shut his arm off and it was just gone. It was just gone, but he grows it back. This man is a problem. He's a paramecia, but he is clearly able to go toe-to-toe with any Logia. Awakening is a serious business, and I can't actually wait to get to an arc where we get to actually see an awakened Logia, because that's going to be a different thing. They're already flipping intangible and able to create the substance that their devil fruit represents. So what is the Logia going to be? Awakened? Monstrous. Kaibutsuda? Nani? Weird. And back we go to the seas of Totland. Beige and the Fire Tank Pirates are on their way to Liqueur Island, luring Big Mom with the cake. The wonderful, delicious smelling, unique and magnificent cake. But Chiffon decides to change her mind. She says that if they stop on Liqueur Island, Big Mom, when she eats the cake, she'll have enough time to catch up to the Straw Hats. So they need to lure her further away so that the Straw Hats will have time to themselves get away. She tells Beige that they need to bring Big Mom to Puff's Island instead of Liqueur Island. I actually thought that there was going to be a serious inferno involving the liqueur on Liqueur Island. but maybe that might not happen now. Oda's always throwing curveballs. But this is why I love the series. And although they're afraid, the Asian company decide to follow Chiffon's order, who is presumably now the captain of the Fire Tank Pirates. And we see another glimpse of Big Mom, and she's just drawn down and skinny, and she's looking more like Brulee now, like a cross between Brulee and Peril Sparrow with the tongue. Peril? Nani? Yeah, she's looking messed up now. Looking at the changes that Big Mom has taken so far throughout her rage for the sweets, I kind of get the feeling that she's gonna die. Like, she's literally gonna die. And it made me think to myself, is this gonna be a pattern that we see with all of the Yonko? Because the very first Yonko we were introduced to was, in fact, the great and powerful Edward Newgate, Whitebeard himself, the man who held the Quake no Mi, the strongest man in the world, the captain of the Whitebeard Pirates, Shirohige. Whitebeard was introduced into the story and met his demise in the same introduction. So what if this is a pattern? What if each Yonko that the Straw Hats meet is destined to die during that meeting, and we are witnessing the dawn of the new world, where the Yonko have fallen, where the truth is revealed, and where Luffy has become the Pirate King. Whatever's gonna happen to Big Mom at the end of this arc is really intriguing. It's 10 past 10 on Beiji's ship. A glimpse of the mirror world, Luffy and Katakuri still exchanging punches, and back again to the Thousand Sunny. 10:50 now. The fight rages on as the Straw Hats are still running towards Cacao Island. And finally, she makes her move. Smoothie, standing tall on the flagship of her fleet and firing Elbaf spears at the Straw Hat Pirates. Smoothie can grow. She can grow into a giant woman. Nani? So it begs the question, what kind of devil fruit does she have? We can see that she can wring the juices out of people, animals, and objects, but is she absorbing juices now? Where's she absorbing the juices from? It can't be the seawater, because the seawater would weaken the devil fruit user. So what is she absorbing? Maybe she's absorbing the juice of the ship itself that she's standing on, and that's probably what's weakening the ship to the point where it is going to capsize or be destroyed under the weight of Smoothie. I don't know. She can squeeze out juice and she can suck in juice. She's juicy. She's got the juicy no Mi. And of course, Jinbei and Nami working together make the Straw Hat ship, the Thousand Sunny, a formidable adversary on the sea for any vessel in pursuit or in battle against this ship, helmed by the Knight of the Sea, Jinbei of the Sun Pirates, and Nami, navigator of the Straw Hat pirate ship. Chopper asks Tara if Nekomamushi and Inuarashi can transform into the Sulong form. Yeah, I've got that question too, Chopper. Nani? I think it's gonna be the case. Those forms are gonna be militant. And we go back to the mirror world. Luffy's getting stomped in the face, still throwing punches, fighting on the edge, fighting for his life, fighting to grow stronger. 11:08. Luffy and Cat have been fighting for hours. Luffy has been fighting for hours. I can see the reason why there's so much skippage in this fight is because in the new world, in these battles against these high tier opponents, these are going to be fights that last for days. One-on-one fights. Aokiji and Akainu, they were fighting for 10 days on Punk Hazard. Jinbei and Ace fought for 5 days. You need to be of a certain level if you're going to be fighting these people on the sea in the new world. And judging by his performance in this battle, I'm putting Luffy's getting up there. When he awakens, that's going to be a different story. Sanji's plan appears to be in effect. He's decided to get on the flying carpet with Pudding and go to Cacao Island, where Oven is gathering the forces of the Big Mom Pirates to intercept Luffy and the Straw Hat Pirates when they try to meet at said meeting point. Now, what's Sanji gonna do? Is he actually going to fight now? Is he going to bring out the black leg and break some of Big Mom's precious little eggs? If he's intending to go up against this entire force, then that's a boss move right there. But he's gonna need help. Pudding ain't really gonna be able to help him much. I mean, she could probably put people into a memo trance, and then Sanji could just run around and kick everybody in the face a couple times. But I think this is going to be more of a different type of clash. This is going to be a naval clash that occurs here, because we still haven't seen the Vinsmokes and where they went to after they decimated the forces that the Big Mom pirates sent after them. After they covered their tracks over the Den Mushi when they were talking to Mont Dior. I'm pretty confident that they're going to show up at Cacao Island, and Sanji, standing by their side, is going to take on the remnants of the Big Mom army, or this particular faction, back into the mirror world. Luffy's getting tired, it looks like, and taking more blows than he was previously. It's 11:36 now, and we see the gathering forces of the Big Mom pirates on Cacao Island. We have the Charlotte family, the decuplets, the 36th to the 40th sons, and the 30th to the 34th daughters. That number actually only counts 9, but I just remembered that Pudding is the 35th daughter, so she's actually one of these decouplets that are standing here waiting on Cacao Island. So it's going to be interesting to see her interaction with them. When she and Sanji arrive, we have the 33rd son, Raisin, and the 35th son, Yuen, and etc. There's just too many people to introduce. How many children does Big Mom have? 185 children and 43 husbands. Nani? Baby ain't got nothing on Big Mom. We also have the 32nd son, Brownie, and the 27th daughter, Joconde. And there he is, the one and only Charlotte Snack. Bounty 600 million berries, the man who was defeated by Mardi Monk Rouge, demoted, former sweet commander, Snack. If Sanji beats him as well, people are going to have to rethink this whole Mardi Monk business. Otherwise, you're going to have to call Sanji Vinsmoke D Sanji. I'm not on the Uruj hype. Nani? I'll give him the win, but Luffy's accomplishments have already overshadowed his right now. 12:05 a.m. What's the matter, Straw Hat? Is this... that's right. The end? Alright. I'll take you on. I'm going to end this with this. I've already answered you. Is this the end? Yeah. It looks like they're talking, but they're seeing what each other is going to say in the future, so they don't even need to say it. It's almost like they're communicating telepathically or telehackily. Gear 4th. Snake Command! Nani? And this is it. A new Gear 4th form. I've been patiently waiting for this, because I did see a video. I can't remember who put this video up. Someone from the community put a video up where there was a picture of Oda's office, and on the table there was a series of books, and one of the books was titled Gear 4th. There was another one with a dragon on it, and another one that said something else, but Oda's got an entire book on Gear 4th. So if you're looking for Gear 5 right now, that's not gonna happen for now, because Gear 4th has got levels within this level. Snake Man. Solid Snake Man. Otacon, I've infiltrated the mirror world. Nani? What kind of transformation is this going to be? If I had to speculate, I think it's going to be some kind of skinny version of Gear 4th, where he's got spindly arms and legs, but he can move super quick and attack super quick as well. We've already seen him do these Python techniques in Gear 4th already, so maybe there's going to be a bit more of that, like a super speed Culverin type moves that can attack from great distance at great speed. This is going to be like Luffy running around with a sniper rifle. This is really intense. I mean, what other types of Gear 4 form could there be? We've seen Bound Man, we've seen Tank Man, and now we're gonna see Snake Man. What are going to be the differences in these forms? We've already seen that Bound Man is a very offensive form with great speed, great strength, and great durability, and Tank Man is literally no speed but massive durability in place of that. It becomes literally an immovable object. And bear in mind, that was the full version where he was full of food, so potentially he's got a Tankman form that isn't the full version, that can actually move and maybe do some damage strength wise rather than just being durability focused. But then Snake Man, what is Snake Man going to be? The snake in the grass, the strike of the viper, the venom of a cobra, the power of an anaconda. This form is going to be unheard of, and it's probably going to be some wacky looking mode, but it's definitely going to deliver some serious power, because I didn't expect how Kongon was going to reveal itself. I didn't expect Culverin. I didn't expect to see Luffy flying. Nani? So what is Snake Man going to do? I'm so hyped. I'm so hyped I'm gonna have to restrain myself with ninja seals before I read that chapter. Next chapter, there's no break next week. Next week's chapter is going to be something seriously special. I can feel it. Wouldn't it be funny if at this very moment we cut to Wano to see what Zoro and company are doing? Nani? Honestly, I would be fine with that. Anyway, people, Gear 4th Snake Man, One Piece chapter 894, 12:05 a.m. It is going down, and I can't wait to see what happens next. As always, like the video if you like my thoughts on this chapter of One Piece. Comment if you have something to add to my conversations, or to let me know what you think of the video. And of course, subscribe. If this is your first time here and you like what I do, subscribe, because that will tell me that more people want to see more of these videos. So I'll be back with more. Until next time, everybody, this is 100 Beasts Kenshi. Have a wonderful day, and remember, a sword slash to the back is a true shame to a swordsman.